Hey yo, Lulucore! Welcome to my Breath of the Wild Bug Limit All Dungeon speedrunning guide. I hope that this will come handy for anyone willing to learn the category. But before going over the specifics of the run, let's first go over the route, as it is a 2-hour plus run. So just like the 80% speedrun, you will have to go through the Great Plateau. You will want to get a horse, then make your way to the Rito village where Va Meadow is. It will be the first dungeons to be completed, as Rivali's Gale will come very useful throughout the entire run, and the Great Golbo is pretty overpowered. Then we will make our way to the Gyarados region. The Yiga Hideout and the Gyarados city will have useful resources for the upcoming dungeons, and Herbaceous Fairy will be nice to have. Afterwards we will head to the Foothills table. There we will be able to buy fireproof potions for the Death Mountain segment. But it will also be the best spot to have a warp point between Vah Ruta and Vah Rudania. Ruta will be the third dungeon, however we will need to go to Death Mountain first because of the way we need to manage Rivali's Gales. So we'll head to Goronia and save Unibo. Then we will warp back to Moakit and use rocket launchers to get to Zera's domain. We will get the Zera's armor and then beat Ruta. Last we will go back to Death Mountain and escort Unibo, all the way up. And yes, obviously we do Rudania. Finally we can go back to Karachuki and go to Castle to fight Calamity Ganon. Obviously when I put it that way, it sounds like the run will be super short, but there is a lot going on during each segment. But now that this is all explained, let's move on to the first branch of the run, the Va Meadow segment. So like I said, you will also have to do the Great Plateau. The route will be the same as the 80% with minor differences. So for not making a second video on the same route, I will recommend you to go watch my original video on it. However, I'll explain here the few differences. The step will be the same, getting to the tower, except you won't need the beetle. Going to Home and Ho, you will want to get the ruby in the DLC chest. But don't worry, if you do not have the DLC, there is an alternative to it if you do not own them. Going to Kenamut is going to be the same, and Hoadame, you will need to get the sledgehammer this time. And going to Jabage and the paraglider is the same too. So basically we do not need the beetle, and we will need the sledgehammer. So, once you're done with the Great Plateau, warp to Home and Ho. Get down the Great Plateau and grab a horse. Like I mentioned in my 80% guide, the mare will be a 3 speed with an extra spur. The ones with 2 colors will always be 2 speeds, and the one with solid colors are more likely to be 3 speeds. Now, optionally, you can go to the northeast side of Lake Colomo and grab a 4-speed horse. It will save you around 2 to 3 minutes if you get one on your first attempt. For the specific mob, to get a 4-speed horse, you will want to go for one of the horses on the side. That also is a solid color. There will be times that none of the horses will be a 4-speed, so keep that in mind, as there is RNG going on for this. After, go to the Riverside stable and activate Wagokata, then head northwest to Karachuki. Here you can either get on a small hill, or make your way around it, but you will want to activate the shrine, and then leave for the Tabanta region. Get back on the path by Karak Bridge and follow it till the end of the Breach of Demise. From there you can go off track through the Arrow Ridge. It should save a little bit of time. Then you will want to make a stop at the Tabanta stable. Here you want to grab the broadsword, the peppers, and talk to Toran. Toran is a character that gives you 500 rupees for a side quest called A Gift for the Great Fairy. He expects you to find a Great Fairy nearby and use some of his money to wake her up, then come back and give back what's left. But you can just take his rupees and use it for yourself, and this is what we do here. So after you stole some rupees, head for the Tamata Great Bridge and follow the path. Now around this point, if you do not own the DLC, you can get down there and farm the deposit ores. There's a rare deposit among those, so go for that one first. We need at the very least 672 rupees, as we will register the ores, buy 2 sun shrooms, And later we will need the Gyarados clothes, which are 600 by themselves, and we will need to buy a Sensil ride before getting any more money. After, get across the Kolami bridge and follow the path till you reach the Rito village. There you can register your horse at the Rito stable. Then you will want to make your way to the Rito village, so you can use the updraft to get there a little bit faster. Near the village there's gonna be a pound with 2 max salmon. You can use a bomb to kill them and then grab them. Pick the hammer nearby, then rocket your way to the Rito Elder. You'll want to activate the main quest for the Diving Beast by talking to it, and then talk to Saki. After talking to her, you want to jump off the platform and go buy the sun shrooms. Once again, jump off the platform and go to the trees that are the closest to the flight range. You will want to rocket your way across the canyon and then go talk to Teba. Grab the bow and then all the arrows. And then cook some cold resistant food with at least 2 peppers and 2 sunshrooms. 3 peppers will give you more time, but 2 peppers and 2 sunshrooms should be more than enough. And then cook the salmon separately, as they will give you more heart that way. Depending on how fast you are, it might be night or daytime in Gyarados Desert later in the run, and so you'll be either taking cold damage or heat damage. After the cooking, talk to Teba, and then play this game where you need to snipe 5 targets under 3 minutes.
Keep it up. That's it. One more. Perfect.
After sniping the targets, talk a little bit more to Teba, and then grab the eagle bow in the chest. Then talk again to Teba. Any of the options doesn't matter, so just spamming there is fine. Teba will take you all the way up to Meadow for the pre-fight. So before entering the dungeon, we have to bring the shield down. And to do that, we will have to shoot 4 cannons protecting Meadow. We will need to use the 20 bomb arrows that Teba just gave us, and the falcon bow that we got from the chest. Each cannon will require 2 bomb arrows. Now for this segment, you can either play it really safe and get close of each cannon before shooting them, or you can try to snipe them from afar. The latter is obviously harder, but it's also way faster. Explaining the visual cue for the snipes is a little bit hard, as depending on your position and how fast you will get each cannon, the visual cues might differ by a lot. And so this is why I will show you clips from various runners, and hopefully it will give you a better idea of where to aim in general. Also always keep in mind that Vamedo is actually moving through this entire time, so usually runners aim a little bit more to the left to compensate for the movement.
Togliti da lì! Bene, così mi piace. Ci ha presi di mira! Così si fa, questo è l'ultimo. Perfetto. Provaci.
Professor Gabo.
Togliti da lì. Bene, così mi piace.
Who's your favorite? Yeah, Gabe. If you had to pick one, who would it be?
Siamo in pericolo.
Tiba distracted, damn it. Rowan or Juniper? Yeah, we got it.
Così si fa.
Okay.
Questo è l'ultimo.
Got him, coach. Woo!
Perfetto.
Alright. Rowan or Jupiter?
Andiamo. Togliti da lì. Bene, così mi piace. Siamo in pericolo. Che c'è? Così si fa. Questo è l'ultimo. Perfetto. Provaci. Attento. Bene, così mi piace. Così si fa. Questo è l'ultimo. Perfetto. Andiamo. Attento. Bene, così mi piace. Così si fa. Questo è l'ultimo. Ce la fai? Perfetto.
So as you can see, people use a bunch of different visual cues for this part, so this is definitely something you will want to practice a lot and figure out for yourself. But hopefully those examples will help you out figuring out a little bit faster. So before going over the dungeon route, Let me give you a quick rundown of how the dungeon works in this game. Each dungeon has 7 terminals. One gives us the map, one lets you access to the boss of the dungeon, but is locked behind the 5 remaining terminals that you gotta activate. The map will be useful in most dungeons, as it moves the dungeon around, which lets you solve the puzzles and gives you access to the terminals. And that's pretty much it. The dungeons are simple as that. There is no key or items that you get inside the dungeons. So now let's go over the Vamedo route. Vamedo is unique when it comes to dungeons. It is the only dungeons that you will not need the map at all. Every terminal can be activated without the use of it. So first, we will clear the left side of the dungeon. You will want to ride the updraft a little bit, then climb this ladder. You will want to snipe the switch over there, as it will open the window to go outside. You will then want to snipe the eye that blocks the terminal, and then the second one outside that is blocking the updraft that we will use after the terminal. So get your first terminal, then head outside.
There are 4.
You will want to ride the updraft a little bit, and then go for the other window on the other side. From there you can ride the wind all the way to the terminal. After activating this one, you will want to go back outside and jump. But you will want to quickly pull your paraglider and head for the terminal that is just right under the wing. After you activate this one, jump off and simply fall to your death. Because of the way the respawn mechanic works, it will warp you back on the top where you first jump, and from there you can go back to the updraft that we first cleared. And then go under Vamedo's neck to the right side of the dungeon. From there, I like to stand around the middle of the updraft and then snipe the eye. You want to aim a little bit higher to the eye. I usually use the small bump over it as a visual cue. If you want, you can wait till you see the eye actually being hit by the arrow. But usually with practice, you will know if it will hit or not. So, again, just ride the updraft and then make your way to the end of the wing. Go up the stairs, then snipe the switch and then the eye on the ceiling. This one will actually drop a chest with 10 ice arrows in it. But first, activate the terminal so the gate can open. And then head for the chest with the 10 ice arrows. Break it with a hammer and then grab him. Next we want to head for the cylinder thing there. Use stasis on it and hit it 3 times from the side. But not exactly from the side. You want to be like behind a little bit so the momentum goes in diagonal. But for this to work, you will quickly want to get all 3 hits, then switch your Magnesis runes and pull the metal fan into the wind. This will open the door and should make the cylinder hit the piston on the other side, which will then give you access to the last terminal. Now, if you do not feel comfortable with only 10 bomb arrows for the fight, you can go back to the main hub of the dungeon and grab 5 extra arrows there. Otherwise, just jump off the window and then ride the updraft and activate the last terminal on Meadow's back. So, Wind Blight can be a little bit scary, especially if you've never done it in a speedrun. Wind Blight can shoot lasers at you, can throw tornadoes at you, and can also move pretty quickly in the air. It can also go up super high. But, this is a speedrunning guide, so we do have a way to cheese the fight super hard. For the fight, there is a fast way, but there's also a more slower way. So I'll go first over the slower way. So as the fight starts, go for one of the updraft, and then wait till Windblight respawn. As soon as it's fully respawn, go into bullet time and shoot 3 bomb arrows to its head. It should bring it down. Then go back and switch to your ice arrows and shoot 3 more. You want to make sure all of those are headshots, otherwise it will probably take 4 arrows instead. After those 3 arrows, however, you want to quickly go back into the air and get into bullet time before Windblight despawn, and you want to shoot 2 more arrows. It should end the first phase of the fight. And then you simply want to do the same thing on the second phase. 3 bomb arrows, 3 ice arrows, and then 2 more bomb arrows.
Watch your blind spot. Now's your chance.
Now, how can this be faster? Well, let's go back to the beginning of phase 1. You first shoot your 3 arrows, then your 3 ice arrows. But, after you shoot all 3 of your ice arrows, you want to quickly try to get as close as possible of the middle of the arena, and then hit your 2 extra bomb arrows. If you're close enough of the terminal, which should be around there by the way, at the beginning of the second phase, instead of warping away, Windblight will actually stay on top of the terminal. So you can then quickly shoot 3 more bomb arrows, and then again with the 2 ice arrows, and finishing the fight the same way. So after Windblight is defeated, it is not needed, but I will highly recommend to pick up the extra heart container there. It will come handy. Then last, just activate the terminal and free Vamedo from Calamity. Skip the cutscenes, and then you should be rewarded with probably the most powerful tool for all dungeons. Rivali's Gale. Rivali's Gales are updraft that Link can make for himself, and this will come very handy as it can skip a few puzzles later in some dungeons. Afterwards, Vamedo is just not unique for also skipping the dungeons for the all dungeon route, but this segment is also unique as it is the only dungeons that will actually finish the main quest, as the reward for finishing it is the Great Eagle Bow. The Great Eagle Bow is quite strong. It has a 28 attack power and shoots 3 arrows at the same time, so you can already guess that some of the bosses will be decimated pretty quickly. And here this will be the end of this video. Again, if you have any questions about the route, about anything, let me know in the comments below, or reach me out on Twitter or Discord. And I would like to thank Vivoxe, Song, Sketodara, ZDI, Smichman, and CBF for letting me use clips from their runs. All of their socials are gonna be linked in the description below, if you wanna follow them. Now with all that said, thank you all for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys for the next part. In the meantime, have a good one. Peace out.